Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about disaster movies, hidden gems. This will be part one, because probably be a part two later on down the road. Anyways, let's get started. First one is F6 Twister, starring Casper Van Dien, also known as Christmas Twister. This came out in 2013. It was I think it was originally a made-for-TV movie, but I'm not entirely sure on that. Really well done film, though. Casper Van Dien's a great actor. He acts in a lot of great movies. Don't let the fact that these B movies, as they're called, doesn't mean they're bad. Because a lot of times I notice the big budget blockbusters end up sucking. So just because it has a big budget doesn't mean anything. And I've seen that time and time again. But anyway, this is a really well done film. Good storyline, good acting. Check it out. Okay, let's see. Next one is, well, this one's kind of somewhat of a hidden gem considering it came out 10 years ago. Some people might know about it, but then again, some might not. It's called Category 7, The End of the World. This was a sequel to Category 6, which I do not have. This is the better of the two films. It features Randy Quaid, Shannon Doherty. So it was a mini-series, but a very well done one. You want to kick back on like a stormy afternoon or something, or stormy day, watch this miniseries. The special effects are great. Keeps you interested. Shows you how the weather changes and how when storms combine like that, they can get a lot worse. Like what's happening with that hurricane that we're having right now down southern part of the states. Hurricane Irma. Which brings me to my next thing. People worry about when storms come inland, like hurricanes. But one thing that slows them down and weakens them is land. But because a lot of these islands are disappearing back into the sea, there's nothing to weaken hurricane as it comes inland. That's why a lot of these hurricanes are getting stronger. So, like, the Northeast, they had a, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, I think, Massachusetts, they had Tropical Storm Irene. This was a storm that came up the coast in 2011. But the thing about that is that the next one that comes up the coast may not weaken to a tropical storm, but they don't understand that. They're still complaining about something that was a tropical storm. I mean, yes, it did a lot of damage, but what if a Category 5 hurricane comes up the coast to the Northeast and it doesn't weaken? Then what? It's like, some people will say, well, like states like Vermont, they don't have a coastline, so they're fine. No, they're not. I'll tell you why. Because Boston is near the ocean, okay? If you live in Vermont, 4.5 hour drive to Boston, okay? So 4.5 hours away is nothing for a storm. Okay, storm can be like that, but people don't understand that. But like I said, everybody's got to learn the hard way. But anyway, moving on. Ice Twisters. This one came out, I think, in 2000. I want to say 2009. Has a few actors in it I've never heard of, but it doesn't hurt the film at all. It's done really well. It's about this author that writes this book, and a lot of his stuff that he writes about is coming true, and then people are trying to blame him for it, and they're like, "Oh, it's your fault," and this and that and the other thing because he wrote it in a book. Well, just because you wrote it in a book doesn't mean you caused it because you wrote a book about it. I mean, did that guy that wrote the book, Wreck of the Titan, get blamed for the sinking of Titanic 14 years later? I doubt it. At least I hope not. Be kind of stupid if he did. But it was definitely an interesting film. I remember watching this on TV. I got this particular one from a friend of mine. He's selling some movies, and I was like, well, save that one for me. Now comes to one of the best movies on the list. Hold on. This is a little more well-known film. It's called Night of the Twisters, starring John Schneider and Devon Sawa. John Schneider, you may remember from Bo Duke on the Dukes of Hazzard. He also played the Superman's dad on Smallville, as well as several other films. He was actually in another disaster film called Lightning Fire from the Sky. Good film. Good luck finding it. This is based off a book by Ivy Ruckman, where an incident in the 80s actually did happen in Grand Isle, Nebraska, where a series of tornadoes hit at one night. So, it actually did happen. But the movie's set in Blainsworth, Nebraska. I'm not sure if that's a real town or not. Could be. But I saw it back when it came on TV back in '96, so 21 years ago. And the film it's a real hidden gem. It really holds up today. I had it on VHS back in the day. I actually had a VHS copy of it not that long ago. Yeah, I don't mind VHS. Actually, I'll save those for future videos. I don't know if I have any disaster movie hidden gem videos. That'll be for part 2, I guess. The thing I liked about Night of the Twisters is special effects are really good. Really gets you in the right mood for a movie like that. And it was made in the 90s, so it definitely has a 90s feel to it. No cell phones, and tablets, stuff like that. I mean, it's all like 90s stuff when stuff was simple. I mean, I like the older stuff myself. Like Hank Williams is my favorite singer, but you watch my channel, you already know that. I like a lot of the old movies, like the old monster movies and stuff. But the 90s, because you figure the 90s ended almost 20 years ago, so those are old times if you do think about it. But the 90s was a good time, though. It had a lot of good movies, a lot of good TV shows on the air, but this one definitely holds up today. Now, I will tell you this, though. The company that distributed this, Good Time Media, Good Time Video, they went out of business, and all their titles went with them. So you're not going to find Night of the Twisters as easy as you might think. You can go to Goodwill and possibly find it. I mean, I see the VHS tape pop up there from time to time, so if you don't mind having VHS or you have a VCR, then definitely pick it up. It's well worth it, because it's definitely one of the greatest tornado movies, right up there with Twister. So, but this one really stands on its own. It doesn't try to be Twister. It doesn't have like like what they used to do with shark movies. The earlier shark movies, they used to try and imitate Jaws, or at least somewhat, but it doesn't do that. Okay, next one is called Superstorm. This one was originally titled Space Twister. It features Mitch Pileggi, who played Shocker. It also has other people I don't recognize in it. David Sutcliffe from Gilmore Girls, I guess. Wherever that is. I hate these recyclable, goofy half cases. Thought I got rid of all those, but apparently not. But, anyways, they make this this space thing that can, like, it's hard to explain. But it's kind of like well, the kids are in high school and they're in detention, so it's kind of like Breakfast Club. Like it says on the back, Breakfast Club meets Day After Tomorrow. It's pretty much the way to subscribe it. Only this one's a lot better than Breakfast Club. Breakfast Club they just sat around, basically, but this one has a lot of action in it. It's cool to see Mitch Pileggi, whatever the hell his name is. However you pronounce that. I had to have this when it came out. This is actually my second copy of it because loaned the first one to somebody else, and they basically freaking paid a little more than well, they bought a couple movies off me, and let's just say they gave me a decent amount for those movies, so I couldn't refuse. So I just said the hell with it and bought another copy. No big deal. I didn't lose anything. So, but I'm gonna be probably watching this one again soon. I haven't seen it for a while. So it's got like a sci-fi feel to it too, because there's like Jupiter's red spot suddenly disappears and causes all the storms and stuff, and magnetic stuff starting to happen. It's a really well done film. I don't know. Well, Anchor Bay distributed the Blu-ray and the DVD, but I don't know who made the movie. Anyways, you can definitely tell they had at least pretty good budget, because special effects were top notch. Just one I like going back to again and again. I've seen disaster movies where you see it once or twice and that's enough. I mean, I seen this one several years ago called Tornado Warning. It's decent, but it's about all I can say about it. Really doesn't hold up too well. And then it's like I said, it's decent. It is what it is. I mean, if you get like a pack of if they put it in like another disaster movie pack or something for like $5 and you get like a few other movies with it, then it's worth it, but it's not worth seeking out by itself. Next one is Mega Fault. This is an earthquake one. It's one of Brittany Murphy's last films before she died. It also features Bruce Davison, who seems to get around. He's been in a lot of stuff. He's been in other disaster movies. I'll get to another one in a minute and have to go grab it. But he's been in over 200 films. But this one was really interesting. I saw it wherever it was. I saw it. This is made by the Asylum company, one of the best companies for this type of movie out there. They make a lot of good disaster movies, a lot of good creature features. They take a lot of flack for some of the movies they make, and I think it's unfair because yes, they don't have the budget that bigger movie companies have, but a lot of the bigger movie companies that have that budget don't do anything with it. They make a freaking movie that sucks. So just because they don't have the resources doesn't mean they make bad movies by any means. They make a lot of good films. Yeah, some of them are like, yeah, you watch them once or twice and yeah, you're good. But a lot of their films are really good. And Megafall is definitely one of them. That's why I grabbed this when I saw it. I think I got this from Kmart before it went out of business. There's not too many Kmart stores left. I think I paid like $3 or $4 for it. If that. Wasn't that much, I know that. This one's not supposed to be here. That one's a theatrical release, so I'm not going to bother showing that one. This one's called Tornado, also known as Tornado Nature Unleashed. It features Daniel Bernhardt. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And what it is his father dies doing a tornado in the 70s and taking pictures of it. And he gives his son this thing that's like a ancient thing for like a gypsy curse. And it causes these storms. So this one's a little different. This is not a straight up disaster film. It's like it's got like a sci-fi horror feel to it. It's really interesting. The first couple times I saw it, I didn't really get it, but if you watch it and you pay attention to it, it's really well made. It's definitely one of a kind. I don't know of any other movie like it, really. I mean, definitely stands out. But it's actually the probably the best one of the those Nature Unleashed series, because there was Earthquake one, Avalanche, the Fire. The Fire one wasn't bad. Fire Nature Unleashed. That was probably the second best one out of all of those films. But this is probably the best one. Best well acted. It's set in what the hell is that place called? Romania. They go to Romania in this, so it's like not American. Well, they're in America for part of it, but it's definitely an awesome film. Check it out. This one's actually pretty cheap. You can get for a few bucks online, plus shipping, of course. But it's well worth it. I'll show you. There's more than one movie called Tornado, so I just want to show you that this is the one you want if you want the sci-fi horror one. Next one is Age of Ice. This one was set in the Middle East. Not a particular area I care for obvious reasons. This is also by the Asylum. They came out with this in 2014, so it's a more recent one. But this one was done pretty well. It kept me interested. So this is one of their better made ones. Wow, a lot of them are better made ones. But yeah, this one was definitely interesting. I didn't recognize any of the people in it, but again, that doesn't hurt it by any means. This is also something you can get for a few dollars. 2012 Supernova. This one features Brian Krause, whatever the hell his name is. You remember him from the Bandit's buddy in those newer Bandit movies. Bandit Goes Country, Bandit, Beauty and the Bandit, Bandit Silver Angel. This one has tornadoes in it. This one has freaking like volcano eruptions. Oops, sorry. Just a second. think there's like an earthquake in this. It's definitely done very well. It's cool that they were able to get all that stuff into one movie. So actually, it probably had a little bit of a better budget than some of their other films that they were doing. There's a few movies about 2012, of course. There's the theatrical one with John Cusack, I think it is, that I haven't seen that one, so I don't know. There's this one, and there's another one that the Asylum did called 2012 Ice Age. That one's really good. Gonna get that one at some point too. They also did another one called 2012 Doomsday, but I've never seen that one, so I don't know about that one. They're interesting to watch though, and what I do with the Asylum films is I watch their previews so I can see what they got out there, but that I might have not seen. Like even if it's a movie that's a few years old, I'll just go, oh, okay, I haven't seen that one. I'll check it out. So definitely, if you get the Asylum films, don't skip over the previews. Trust me, watch them. Yeah, they get several previews. There's probably, I don't know, 5, 6 of them, 6, 7 of them, but it's worth it because then you can see what other films, like disaster movies, creature features, whatever that you might want to see that they made. That's my phone. Yeah. Hank Williams ringtones, as always. But anyways, the next one is another Casper Van Dien film. This one's called 500 Mile Per Hour Storm. This one really kicked ass. It's right up there with. It looks like he did this about the same time that he did Christmas Twister, or F6 Twister, as it's also known. But yeah, I haven't seen this for a while, but it's really interesting to watch. This came same place I got 2012 Supernova and Age of Ice from the Asylum. They did these grab bags, so to speak, of 5 movies for $5, and you get them, and they send you like whatever. And I picked the disaster movies, shark movies / creature features, and Blu-rays, which are random Blu-rays. I sold the ones I didn't want and kept the ones I did. So, and I made a profit off the ones that I did sell, so it worked out pretty well. Yeah, so yep, hurricanes, tornadoes, whatever else. That's like it says on the front. Tornadoes are 100 miles per hour. Actually, hurricane is 150. This is something else. Well, hurricanes can go faster than that, have faster winds than that, and so do tornadoes. If it's an EF5 tornado, as it's known now, it's 300 mile per hour winds. So, therefore, it's a little inaccurate there, but like I said, it's a movie. It is what it is. But it's really done well. It's about an hour and a half long. A lot of these are about an hour and a half long. But it's definitely worth checking out. I would get this one and F6 Twister because they're Casper Van Dien's in both of them. So even though they're made by 2 different companies, just have it like a double feature. That's why I have both. I think he's in. I forget everything he's in. He's in so much stuff. Last one I'm going to show you here is actually 5 movies on one disc. Has Flood, A River's Rampage, which stars Richard Thomas, who played on the hell's that show, The Waltons, and he also played Hank Williams Jr. in Living Proof, the Hank Williams Jr. story, among other things. Killer Wave, Tidal Wave, No Escape, and Tornado with Bruce Campbell, Ernie Hudson, and Shannon Sturgis. So, going to Flood. Flood was a, just make sure I got the right film here, a mini-series that came out. That one actually surprised me. It was really done well. It kept me interested, and special effects were good. It's until I bought this, I'd never even heard of that one. It's just called Flood. There was another movie in the 70s called Flood, but I haven't seen that one. So I heard it's good though. I got a lot of good reviews, so check that out at some point too. Now, Flood, A River's Rampage with Richard Thomas is another film that's really done well. It also came out roughly the same time that Lightning Fire from the Sky. At least I think it came out the same. Well, let's see. Lightning Bolts of Destruction, maybe it was. Bolts of Destruction, Night of the Twisters. Trying to remember all those films. Well, they all came out, I think, on the Family Channel. Back when the Family Channel used to actually do good movies. It came out about the same time, within like a couple of years of each other. It's very interesting to watch. It's well, like Night of the Twisters deals with tornadoes, this one deals with floods. So basically, it's like that. It's as good. It's about as good as Night of the Twisters is. So it's cool that they put it on this collection here called Storms of the Century. I don't think it's available by itself, at least not on DVD. I know it was on VHS. It's definitely the 2 Flood ones and the Tornado one that I'm about to mention are definitely the best ones on here. Now, Tornado exclamation point was somewhat, a little bit similar to Twister, but not exactly the same. It definitely it definitely stands on its own. I mean, for the time it was made in '96, and you kind of don't know what to expect. But if you watch it, you watch the whole thing. It's really interesting in it. The grandfather in it is played by this guy. It looks like Sam Elliott, but it's not. I mean, by that logic, they probably just could have blamed Sam Elliott, had Sam Elliott play him. But nevertheless, it's a very well done film. I think I had it on VHS back in the day, or I had a VHS copy of it, I do believe. But it's definitely that one and the 2 Flood ones are definitely they're worth the price of admission alone. And now I get to Tidal Wave, No Escape. Okay, not a bad film by any means, not great. But the main problem I had with this one and also the Killer Wave miniseries is, well, I don't really want to spoil it, but let's just say that they're not exactly natural in these movies. They don't just come on their own. Waves don't just come on their own. So that's the thing that I think bumps it down a little bit. Would I recommend the wave movies, the two wave movies by themselves? Probably not. Unless you can get them for like, $1 at a garage sale or something, then yeah, go for it. Because any movie you can get cheap like that, it's worth checking out at least. But definitely, see, if you get a collection like this, the good movies on it can make the other movies look a little better. I know it sounds crazy, but what I mean by that is that they make it so it's more watchable. So it's like you wouldn't want the movie by itself, but in a collection like that, you're like, no, okay. So that way, when you pick up the collection, you can watch like Tidal Wave, No Escape if you choose to. But like I said, they're not completely bad. They are worth checking out at least. I mean, I've seen bad disaster movies. It's like, well, I'll mention another one I didn't like. There goes the phone again. I couldn't even finish it. It was called Metal Tornado. Lou Diamond Phillips was in it, which is kind of interesting that it wasn't very good, because you think with somebody like him in it, it would be good, but it's basically like a tornado made of metal that, yeah, that's exactly how it sounds. It's like a magnet that sucks up metal, is all it is. I mean, I've seen, I think, Superstorm has a little bit of that in it, but it's not all about that, which helps. I mean, maybe someday I'll watch Metal Tornado from beginning to end, see whether I like it, whether I actually do like it or not. But I don't see my opinion changing of it. Another one that's not bad. It's definitely a movie that had a low budget. It's kind of made like those old 50s movies. Well, it's still interesting to watch, though. It's called Killer Flood: The Day the Dam Broke. And it was set in around Rutland, Vermont. Or there's a dam near there that actually, in 1947, that actually did break. So they may have got their idea from that. I have it recorded on a tape somewhere. It's not a bad film. It's not great, but again, if you pick it up for like $1.50 at a yard sale, what do you got to lose? Check it out. You don't like it, resell it. That's what I do. I mean, about a stack of movies there, I'm selling for $2 a piece. Sold quite a few of them already, but just waiting to sell the rest of them. But anyways, well, I got another one I'll mention. I'm not going to dig it out. It's by the Asylum. I guess you can consider it as a disaster film. It's called Titanic 2. And basically, they build a Titanic 2, which they're actually doing now. And they sail it across the ocean, and the tidal wave hits and hurls an iceberg at it. Well, the thing about that is that it could actually happen, because tidal waves tossing something, if it can toss a ship, tossing an iceberg is nothing. It's Bruce Davidson's also in it. That's what I wanted to mention. The interesting thing about that is not a lot of people know about that movie's called Titanic 2, and no, it's not a sequel to Titanic. No. Titanic 2 is the name of the ship. And the name of the movie. That's it. It's Tell you what I'll do. I was going to dig it out, but I don't know where the hell it is down there. Yeah, it's not a sequel, but it's a great film. Done really well. I've watched it several times. It came out in 2010. Now, the interesting thing about that is that, as I mentioned before, they wrote a book called The Wreck of the Titan, which told of a ship that sailed across the Atlantic, struck an iceberg, and sank, and there weren't enough lifeboats. Sound familiar? That book was written in 1898, 14 years before the original Titanic set sail. Now, this movie came out in 2010. Okay. That ship is due to set sail in the near future. So, could history repeat itself? Maybe. On another note about that, just like the way that they continue taking down all these monuments, well, those that fail at history are doomed to repeat it. They're going to cause another civil war. But that's a story for another day. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this film. I will do part 2 later on down the road. Also look out for more creature feature hidden gems, video game hidden gems. Hell, I'll even do music at some point. But I hope you enjoyed this film, and gives you an insight into some good disaster movies that you may not have heard of or whatever. Hope y'all like my channel, or like my videos. Subscribe to my channel. Sorry, my head hurts. Basically, I try to do different videos every so often. I have this will be video number 63, so I'm sure y'all will find something on there that you want. I do music videos, set the picks too. I've done Hank Williams, Johnny Cash, Johnny Horton, Patsy Cline, others. Done my other kinds of videos. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this, and have a good day.